Same thing, just paying attention to the details. Where there may have been some slippage in that game in Atlanta, just making sure we're focused on those things.
Were Jared, there was a lot of this, but were those
Yeah.
guys able to practice?
There was a few of them that came to practice today. Jared participated some. Howell and Dean were full go. And Isaac was not able to participate today.
No, Donovan twisted his ankle late in that game. Any issue with that moving forward?
He was. Our expectations is he's good to go. We went through everything today, got his treatment, appeared to be fine. So.
No, everybody seems to be wanting to manipulate opposing offenses into that between restricted area and three-point area. How does that calculus change when you got guys like Brunson who like to live in there and it's so good for his spine?
You try to dictate personnel, and we look at things on a game-by-game basis. I know a lot of times, stats and analytics look at the game from 30,000 feet or 30,000 shots, however you want to put it. But, we understand personnel and our opponent and try to limit their strength. So, we still want to keep him out of our paint. The more shots that he can take contested, is where we live with. But again, we do know his strength of getting there and how much pressure he can put on you.
If that's something where you guys have to ask the big guys to do more work on the perimeter and stuff, how do you balance that with knowing you're giving them more of a workload and you don't want to wear them out?
Our guys have been willing to do whatever it takes to help us win. So, there's nights schematically where we've had to switch more things and they've been out on the perimeter, but they understand that their job's not done. They have to be able to defend the perimeter and get back in and help us rebound. They have to be able to communicate when they are on the perimeter and those smalls guys get to running around, how we work our matchups back so we can get them back in the paint. So those are all things that we work on.
Speaking of willing to win, how about the Chargers?
That was awesome. Mike Garrity's done a heck of a job with that team. But the buy-in that they've had, which in the G League isn't always easy. So it's a credit to the guys, willingness to buy into, again, something bigger than themselves. It's something that we talk about here from top to bottom. Mike G has done a great job of making sure the Charge reflect everything the Cavs do.
And is part of the plan of having Sam or something more you guys?
Yeah, we want those guys to be able to play. And then also we want, that the Charge to be able to compete. The rotation kind of speaks for itself right now, but giving those guys an opportunity to play, and then again, giving them an opportunity to play in pressure-filled moments. Playoff games, those types of moments matter and help guys in their development.
J.B, if you were to, there's a somewhat significant chance that you guys see New York in the first round. How does that change how you prepare for them tomorrow? That so close to the end of the season.
It won't change for us. Hopefully, things go your way. You still have that week beforehand where you can really hone in and lock into whoever your opponent is. We obviously understand where we are positionally, but we'll still prepare the same way and go out and try to take care of business.
Does that week in between change how you maybe manage the roster in terms of the rest or trying to ramp guys up because there's such a long way?
Yeah, and that's we've kind of discussed that, but we're still focused on game by game. If there is positions clinched, then I think you can start to make decisions on how you want to manage those games. You think about those games and that week and how long the layoff is, that'll go into the decision you make how you want to manage those games after whatever may be clinched.
If you had an opportunity to chat with voters for NBA awards and make the case for Evan to be Defensive Player of the Year, what would you tell them?
That he is, one of the most impactful defensive players that's not limited to a single thing. He's not just an elite one-on-one defender. He's not just an elite pick-and-roll defender. He's not just an elite rim protector. He has the versatility to guard position 1 through 5. And, he's been that on the team that's been the number one defense for the majority of the year. Night by night, his matchup changes. His responsibilities don't change, though. And, again, when you look at the productivity, but again, where our team has stood, I think it's difficult not to give him that honor.
And then you talked the other night about Darius and the sacrifice that he has made with Donovan coming in, and Donovan said the same thing. Did you have conversations with Darius about some of the things that he would have to give up in order to welcome Donovan and make it work as well as it has?
Yeah, we talked about a lot of stuff, and we always continue to talk. But what we've asked Darius is, and the same thing with Donovan and Evan and Jared, like, you just be yourself. And being who you are at your best is good enough. And because they're so unselfish, it works naturally. So there wasn't a, Darius, you don't get these shots, you don't get these plays, you don't do. Be yourself and take what the defense gives you and make the right basketball play. That's our expectation of all our guys.
What does it say about Darius, though, that he's been able to take the step back and still have as much of an impact as he's had on you guys?
And I'm not trying to, hold it, but it hasn't been a step back,
Okay.
right? It's including another player that was going to help us become a better basketball team. And again, being able to play the game purely based on what the defense and your opponent gives you, but being aggressive enough to make the right play and make the defense have to make difficult choices. So, I can speak volumes about the character and the person that Darius is. He has been selfless. He has been a leader. He has always prioritized the team over himself, and that hasn't changed.
With Darius and the understanding of the game that we've talked about this season, is there something when it comes to the playoffs that with understanding the game within the game that would change even more so than it already has for him?
Well, I mean, the understanding and the pressure of the moment always changes things. The physicality changes things. So just being prepared for those things will help. But then, you're playing against the same team over and over and over again, which, they're going to know your strengths and weaknesses as well as you do. And now it's the adjustment that you have to make in order to still be efficient and be effective.
We're doing a feature on the different overtime games you guys had this year. Why do you think, when you're undefeated in overtime, why do you think you guys have been so successful in overtime?
I think our guys have a place that they can go to when other people may feel as if they've had enough. Our guys believe in each other to a point where they have the ability to carry each other through difficult times. On top of that, defensively, like, we can go to a place that makes it extremely difficult for people to score. And when you condense a game to a 5-minute game, they know how to make it, extremely difficult. And then they have guys offensively who can make you pay in different ways. You've got ball attack guys, you've got big guys who can finish, you've got playmakers off the ball. So we're hard to guard, when you start to shrink and condense the game down.
Defensively, why is that so important in overtime? What are you guys able to do?
Again, we can get stops on demand. And I think that's, obviously it's beneficial. But there's such a trust in our defense that, in the tightest of moments, no one person feels uncomfortable enough where they won't do their job and more, because they trust that the person behind them is going to do their job, and it carries through 1 through 5 on the floor. And I don't know how many teams have that belief.
Obviously, you guys have played the next few times this season, but given where you're at in the standings, where they are, and the proximity to the playoffs, do you think it could carry any more weight psychologically tomorrow night?
Oh, I think for sure. We can say what we want to, and I can give you all the coach speak you can handle. But from both sides, there's an understanding of the moment, and like the greatest players, the greatest teams, they always understand the moment and can raise themselves to that. So this is a great opportunity for our guys. Again, not many of them have been in these positions to raise themselves to a level and see what we got.
Last season, you had a ton of fun with this team. How much is it more fun this year now that just things have changed so much, and you're just kind of playing more on the postseason formula?
I think there's two sides of that. It hasn't changed off the court. because like I love being around these guys every single day. Winning more is always fun, and then the playoffs are fun. So being able to win with this group and be in this position with this group, again for the first time, has been a lot of fun. And then as the games get tighter and more pressure filled, that's why you do what you do. As players, as coaches, because you want to compete at the highest level, and that's what it's all about.